Thank you for choosing to come to this open house and specifically our information technology booth. My name is Tom Murphy. I'm Assistant Dean of our Information Technology Programs and Pathways at Durham Tech. I'm also Director of our Software and Web Development programs within that. And if you want to reach out to me after this session, I've provided my contact information. We have 5 different niches or specializations of IT that we can train you in, and that's software development, web development, network security or cybersecurity, cloud systems administration, and service and support. And we offer different academic credentials within those 5 areas. Certificates that can be achieved by taking like 4 to 6 courses in 4 to 8 months, or diplomas that you can complete in a year, or our associate in applied science degrees, also known as 2-year degrees, because they can be completed in 2 years. And you'll see in our 5 areas, there's some overlapping things such as the IT Foundations certificate. And we'll find out why that's repeated in all 5 areas shortly. So all 5 of our IT programs start off with a common first semester. And this is like if you're a full-time student pursuing a diploma or a degree. And 4 of those courses provide you a broad introduction to the different areas of IT before you start specializing in your particular IT area. And it's really good if you think that you want a career in IT, but maybe aren't sure what you want to specialize in. And let's say that initially you'd applied to the college and chose IT, the software development degree, whereas maybe after taking CTI 120, you said networking and security. That's actually what I'd rather do. You can easily switch within our IT programs. And because of that common first semester of courses, you haven't lost any credits. And I do want to point out that you can apply towards that or for that IT Foundation certificate. You can complete that in 1 semester, put it on your resume, and get a job and no longer take any courses at Durham Tech, but we encourage you to continue your academic path. All of our certificates really build on each other, and all the courses on our certificates go towards the higher academic credentials, such as the diploma, and all the courses on our diplomas go towards the degree. So we call this kind of a stacking technique, where you can just about get an academic credential every semester, adding it to the resume while you continue along your academic path. I want to first talk about software development at Durham Tech. We train you to design, develop, test, and maintain software applications and mobile apps that meet end user requirements. So if you're interested in coding or creating or developing apps, this is your major that you want. We teach you different programming languages to create these apps, such as Python and Java and Microsoft Visual C# and the .NET platform. We teach you to work with databases such as Oracle, Microsoft Access, and SAS, which stands for Statistical Analysis Software. And as mentioned earlier, before our session started, we teach you to create mobile apps using Android development tools, such as Android Studio, and to create iPhone and iPad apps using Apple's Swift language. And what kind of career maps to software development? Software developer, specifically the applications area of software development. A software developer in Durham and Chapel Hill, the average salary is $103,000. Now realize that that is average, so you may get your degree at Durham Tech and maybe start off at a lower salary, but with more experience, rise to that average or more experienced salary. And it's a hot market out there in across North Carolina. There are almost 3,000, about 2,800 projected job openings each year. Another IT program at Durham Tech that you may want to consider registering or enrolling in is web development. And you learn to develop dynamic interactive, and responsive websites that meet end user requirements. And what do I mean by responsive web design? That is creating web pages that really can accommodate different screen sizes and different devices. And we do that through HTML5 and CSS3, or Cascading Style Sheets version 3. And a big part of that we use for responsive web design is CSS Grid. And we teach you to create dynamic web pages, ones with buttons and multimedia that takes action, maybe accesses a database through JavaScript and JavaScript libraries and frameworks such as jQuery. We use industry tools in this program: Adobe Creative Cloud, and some of the apps that you'd use is Adobe Photoshop, Experience Design for user interface creation, and Dreamweaver. And just to let you know that there's an academic discount for that software of only $50 that's attached as a course fee to the program. Normally it's a few $100s, and the same thing goes back in software development for Microsoft Visual Studio. Also, we teach you back-end development in our web development program, so you learn to create server-side web applications using PHP and MySQL, and something called the MEAN stack. It's an acronym that stands for the 4 tools that you use to implement that, and that's Mongo, Database, Express, AngularJS, and Node.js. And the associated career for web development program is web developer. And in Durham Chapel Hill, web developers are reporting that they earn an average of $67,000. And across North Carolina, there's projected to be each year 470 job openings in web development. Our third IT program you might be interested in is network security, also known as cybersecurity, and it can prepare you for supporting and securing networks. And some of the technologies that you'll learn in the network security curriculum and its courses are firewall configuration, Linux and Windows systems management, network installation, configuration and administration, network analysis and intrusion detection. You have a security analysis project and security operations. There are some industry certifications that our coursework can prepare you for. Some of them are embedded, some of them are optional. And those are ones by Cisco. You might have heard, many of you, the CCNA. That's from the company Cisco, and also ones by Palo Alto Networks, Microsoft, Red Hat, and CompTIA. The careers that you might expect to go into after majoring in network security are ones such as computer network support specialists, information security technicians, and network and computer systems administrators. And you can see the average salaries that are reported just right here within Durham Chapel Hill of a couple of those openings: $59,000 for support specialists, $92,000 for systems administrators, along with hundreds and hundreds of job openings for those careers across North Carolina. Our fourth IT program is IT and Cloud Systems Administration, and it prepares you to administer servers and support data centers. And the coursework is based in server system administration, cloud account system and deployment management, automation and scripting of administration tasks, storage management, and virtualization. Some of the certifications that are mapped to the coursework in this IT Cloud and Systems Administration program are ones from Amazon, CompTIA, Microsoft, Red Hat, and VMware. And what kind of careers are associated with this program? Systems administrator, cloud system technician, and storage administrator. Systems administrators here in Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill, report that they earn an average of $92,000 with 900 projected job openings each year in North Carolina. Our fifth and final IT program and pathway is IT service and support, and it prepares you to support users in networked environments. Some of the coursework in that program involves computer troubleshooting and repair, desktop support, help desk ticket management, systems management, user training, and support. Some industry certifications that go along with this program's coursework are ones from CompTIA, Microsoft, and Red Hat. And some of the careers that are associated with this program are computer support specialist, IT technician, user support specialist, and help desk technician. And computer support specialists in Durham Chapel Hill report they earn an average of $54,000 with over 2,100 job openings expected for these computer support specialists each year in North Carolina. So I've gone through this pretty quickly. A lot of information, but this is a summary of our 5 IT programs and pathways, along with the certificates, diplomas, and degrees for all of them. There is a reference to a 2-page curriculum at a glance that I'll bring up on screen shortly, but I wanted to pause here and see if any of you would like to unmute yourself if you have a question. And if you would rather text your question, you can text it. So I see Nina, go ahead.
Hi, I'm sitting here with my son. He's going to be coming in the fall session. So he had a question. He's actually interested in all 5.
All right.
So he wants to learn a little bit about all of it, and he wants to do all 5. So what would that look like for him? He's graduating a year early, so he has time.
Okay. That's a great question. So first of all, I will say that since we do have a common first semester, all those courses do apply towards all of our 5 IT program areas. Now, if you got the time, you can complete all the courses for all those degrees, and fantastic. I will let you know, you usually do end up specializing in one area, but the more technologies and skills you have, particularly if they're very different than a different area of IT, the more valuable you'll become. And we do have students that will double major. They'll actually select more than one IT program to pursue. When you apply to the college, you may be limited on this common CFNC application by, to only listing one major. But after you get enrolled to the college, you can add a secondary major and pursue both at the same time. Let me bring up this 2-page curriculum at a glance and realize that this PowerPoint presentation, as well as this curriculum at a glance, they're in the swag bag for this booth. So 2 of our 5 IT programs are very related, the software development and web development. About 80% of the courses are the same. So several students will double major in those 2 paths simply because it's less courses, merged across both. And the other 3 degree programs are also very much related. And the IT administration diploma that's like listed here in the bottom right, that actually is like the first year of all 3 of these degree programs. That shows you again how much commonality there is between these 3 programs. So what I would do is, again, apply to one of these 5 in the application, and then pick, once you're enrolled, as a secondary major, one of the other 5 on this document, and preferably one that's on the same page as your initial one. Not saying you have to, but that would get you through a little quicker, because the technologies uh, and skills between software and web development, they are close together, and then these are close together. We do have students that will major in, one program on one page and another on another page. Very different skills, and when you have very different skills, you become very valuable.
Yeah. So
Does
quick
that help?
question for you. With we all know that Apple is going to be coming into the area.
Absolutely, that's
And
right.
they're going to be looking for some skilled individuals for what they're going to be offering. Have you researched that, and do you know what they're looking for?
Great question. So yes, Nina, just recently announced, maybe 3 weeks ago, that Apple is coming to the area. I think like RTP, certainly, either Durham or Wake County. And what I saw is that, um, three areas that they're going to be specializing in terms of employment are software engineering, which is very similar to software development, and artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we currently do not offer courses in artificial intelligence or machine learning, although I will have to say that after that announcement and seeing that and doing a little research, um, I have put it on my radar as the assistant dean and have that in my pocket in case we get asked to expand.
Good, good. So with that being said, which one of these would you direct your up and coming freshmen to kind of pursue? Um, we know that we have a plethora of jobs throughout the triangle that caters to like the IT. We know that through the pandemic that this is probably the best thing we can get our youth involved in. Um, but with that direction, which one of these would you think best suit him to start? He's interested in it all, but I do want him to have a focus.
Right. So they're all in demand. They all earn good salaries. So that's, two things you definitely want to look at in any career. Um, Sometimes it comes down to preference, and um, certainly and personal skills. Uh, Troubleshooting and problem solving certainly does apply towards all five. But how about this? If if your son is a really good speller, or really good in taking someone's written piece of paper and detecting spelling errors or grammar errors because he has a really fine eye, then that kind of lends itself towards software development, because coding is really like a written language. And To be honest, it's very strict in to get a program or app or coding to work. It is very much like the world's worst English instructor. You have to have every I dotted and T crossed. So, I, but then again, if you're a very creative person, there is in software development, but especially in web development, if you have an inclination towards being creative, then those programs might be of interest. But really, in terms of demand and salaries, all are kind of comparable. And I would ask that he maybe reevaluate after taking the broad introduction of IT courses in the first semester, and see which one that he had the most fun in or he enjoyed the most, and maybe pursue the specialization from that particular entry level course. Like if he liked networking and security in CTI 120 and was more hands-on equipment touching and routing and hooking computers together so they can speak with each other, then maybe one of the programs on the second page might be more up his alley.
Sounds good. I like that. Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.